You're listening to the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast where each week, hey, Dave Anthony, you read a story from American history to jump into the deep end. Jump into the deep end if you're new.
You'd be.
I mean, I knew that would happen, but also, wasn't Beanie Baby your choice? Or was it mine?
It was mine. But
I feel
what
like
do you?
it was your choice.
Yeah, but why? Why are you?
Remember, we couldn't. Because of the fires, we couldn't.
Yeah, but what's what? The point is not that I released the episode. The point is that you have again disrespected my.
I didn't say it. Your mother did.
Oh,
what are you talking about? I didn't come up with Benji. That was your mom.
Oh.
Do you want to tell your minute to call your mom?
Well, she's busy. Yeah, I mean, she's busy.
Is she?
Yes, she is. She's busy. Yes, she is. Because I know she's doing something today. I know she's doing something today.
She would answer her phone.
All right, fine. We'll do it real quick. All right. I mean, I'm already conceding that this is probably the case.
Why would How long until you Benji?
How long until they start doing commercials during the phone call until the person answers?
Oh God!
Like instead of ringing, it'll just be like.
Not. You should have said that out loud. That's a terrible.
That's the new ring.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying
to
reach
look at that little cute English.
I don't know why it's an English guy. That doesn't make any sense. But instead of that, it'll just be like, get in the zone, auto zone, get in the zone, auto zone, get in the zone, auto zone, get in the zone. Hello.
All right, the Dollop is going on tour. We have two different little week-long tours we're doing. First, in March, we are going to the Improv at Tempe, Arizona. Then we're going to Hyenas in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, in Hyenas, we sold out, so we had a second show. The second show will be a best of, and it's later that night. We haven't picked the best of show yet, but
what it'll be is we're going to Dave is going to reread a story from ages ago that I don't remember, and he probably doesn't remember. No, are you going to prep yourself?
No, I might go through it.
You should maybe go through it, but either way, okay, that's great. Okay, great.
Yeah. And then we're going to go to Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City, then Bricktown Comedy Club in Tulsa, then the Granada Theater in Dallas, Texas, then the House of Blues in Houston, and Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, which is a afternoon show. And then in June, we go to the Sacramento Punchline, the Egyptian Theater in Boise, Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Neptune Theater, Aladdin Theater in Portland, Tower Theater in Bend, and the House of Fine Arts in San Francisco. I can go to dolloppodcast.com/tour to get all your ticket links.
That's right, babe.
Yeah, so do that.
That's right, baby.
And, keep it sexy. Is that our saying?
No, I think you're encroaching on my favorite murder a little bit, so be careful.
Keep it. What do they say? Keep it sexier.
No.
Hot boys.
Don't.
I think they say hot boys.
No,
right?
They absolutely don't say that. That's 100% the opposite of what they're going for.
What do they say? Hot boys. Stay sexy is our new thing. I don't know what they do over there.
That's what they're doing. So
no, come on.
Yes.
January 19th, 1809. You have our Lord J-Town.
Sure.
What do you mean, sure?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
It's a Christian podcast.
It isn't. It's weird.
Every week we thank our sweet J-Town and for all the rad things he's given us, and the sweet like food and beverages. Edgar Poe was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
Whoa.
You know who that is?
Well, I'm waiting. I don't want to get fucking catfished again on this show and have it be just some dude named Edgar Poe, and then you'll be like, Edgar William Poe, and I'll be like, oh, I thought it was gonna be. I've been making Edgar Allan Poe. I've been making Raven jokes the whole show, and then you'll be like, look at dumb guy thing, and then people online being like, how did you not know that was not Edgar Allan Poe?
That's right.
Yeah, so I
The
know.
people are right, is what we're saying.
No,
In that story, the people are correct.
no.
Born in Boston, Massachusetts, to actors David Poe Jr. and Eliza Poe.
Oh, the
Eliza-
child of actors. Difficult start.
Terrible. Particularly with this situation. Eliza was one of America's most famous actresses. She'd been since she was a child.
Okay.
She's known for comedic roles. She's known for being gorgeous. And David is a terrible actor. When they were in a play together, a critic noted, quote, "The lady was young and pretty and evinced talent both as a singer and actress. The gentleman was literally nothing."
Oh, fuck.
Literally nothing.
That's got to be tough. That's got to be.
He was.
Well, because you might, as a significant other, you might start by like reading it out loud. You might be like, oh my God, the review's in. She's an unbelievable, and he's a nothing. What does it say about me, hon? What does it say?
You're like a lamp.
Huh?
They're saying that you're like a thing on the stage.
Huh.
like one of the couches, or like a board, like a board of the background,
Uh-huh.
or like not even that. Like they're also, I guess what they're saying is like, you're
Okay.
not even like a board.
Okay, yeah.
But I am glowing and effervescent and
right.
Exuding energy and
Yeah,
light.
right.
And then you're like a mystery man that's not even, you can see through you.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of that's not even in the piece.
Just like a empty husk of a human. Although not a husk. Like,
he just called me a nothing, so I don't think you should be like vamp. I don't know why you're riffing on this. No.
It's like if the outside of the husk was gone, it was just the inside, which is nothing.
That's first of all, the husk is just the husk is consistent throughout. I'm not going to nitpick your husk bit.
Who's talking? What? I hear a voice.
I'm talking. I'm talking. Your husband.
I hear a voice.
This is David.
Oh, sometimes I don't even notice you're there.
Oh my God. Is that you coughing, honey? Honey. Oh my God. Choke. Die.
We're gonna come back to that cough in a sec. He was also called, quote, an abyss of embarrassment.
Oh shit, that's way worse.
Bear said he had a, quote, mountain face.
Oh, what the fuck is going on?
It's not good.
Well, it's bad to be an abyss with a muffin face. I mean, muffin face also. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the ground head,
bumpy
flat head, bumpy.
What's the face? Maybe it has the little doily strips on his face or something.
Yep, might have doily neck area.
Yeah. Right.
So audiences would regularly hiss at him.
Jesus Christ!
Now, when Edgar was born, they're very poor, and when Edgar was 2, David, the dad at that, who is now a well-known alcoholic, just left. He just leaves.
Smart.
And he died a few months later.
So I mean, he kind of pulled the dog. He went off and then passed away.
He did, but also I mean, it had to have been hard to stay in that marriage. Everyone loves your wife, and you're really bad at what you do. And
Dave,
let's
let's come out in the open and say how the man made the right call. Men are making these proper decisions often.
That was what I was getting to. He needed to go. Sometimes you just have to leave your family for a whiskey.
Yep. Dave.
That's it.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, my dad didn't leave for whiskey. He was a whiskey.
He stayed for whiskey.
So his dad's out of the picture now. Now Eliza is only 22, and she has very little money to support Edgar. He's also got a 4-year-old brother, Henry, and then she's also pregnant when David leaves.
Shit.
Months later, she comes down with tuberculosis.
Oh shit.
I was talking about the coughing. Audiences notice that her, good looks are fading, and she's becoming very gaunt, and like a dull sheen to her. And pretty soon she's bedridden. She can't do anything. She relies on charity, people to come help. A nursemaid would come and help with the kids. The nursemaid would often give the kids bread soaked in gin to keep them quiet.
For sure. Absolutely.
And then Eliza died in 1811. Edgar is almost 3, right on the cusp. So he's lost both parents in a year.
And at 3 years old, he's eating gin bread.
Yeah, as you do. Got to keep him quiet. That's the number one rule. Keep him quiet.
It just seems.
No, it's doctors will tell you that now. They'll be like,
yeah, right.
Make sure you have enough gin and bread.
There you go. Let it soak up. There you go.
You need a car seat. You need some bibs, and then just a lot of bread.
Bread with gin. Just really soak it up.
So now the kids are young. They're split up. Henry goes with a set of grandparents. A local family takes in the new baby, Rosalie. And Edgar goes to live with this local couple, John and Frances Allen. John is a very generous Scottish merchant. He liked to help those down on their luck.
What would you like? Have it. Like that sort of guy? Is that who we're going for?
Do you do a Scottish accent?
Well, what you like? Hey, you see anything you like? Have it. Is it like that?
Yeah, very much.
Well, you pick something out. Whatever you like, you can have. Here you go. Why, our business model is have it. Have it. Just take it. That's all that matters. Have a bit. There you are. Just take it. That's nice. I can see you're eyeing that ashtray there, sir.
Yeah. It's a nice. I'm an ashtray collector, but I like to look at them. Like
it's a nice
look.
Very. Make a.
I like to.
Wait, do me a favor. Make an offer,
Yeah.
and let's see where we'll go from there. About
on the ashtray, I can't afford an ashtray. I can maybe give you a handshake or a hug or whatever, but I don't have any money.
I'll do it for a hug.
Okay, bring it in. Hey,
tell your friends.
Well, I don't think so. That was weird, but yeah, as I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, don't. So his wife's name, she went by Fanny, and she had attended Eliza on her deathbed. She fell in love with Edgar, and she convinces John to take him in, but John would never formally adopt him. It's just like a informal and taking care of you situation. The Allens are pretty well off, and Edgar is a cute little baby. He's very smart. He has a big imagination. He started reading newspapers at 5 years old.
Crazy. That's a red flag.
That's a huge red flag. Like that's
problematic.
Like, this one's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
At 6, the family moves to London because John to expand his business. And it does well. His branch that he opens there does well. And Edgar's sent to boarding school when he's 7, which he doesn't like.
No, you're not supposed to. Though. That was the whole
yeah.
idea. The idea was never. It was never to be like you're going to have a great time. It was like we like to parent during the summers.
Yeah, I don't want you around. Does that make sense?
Yeah. My father went to boarding school, like an English boarding school, and dude, he will bring it up like anything that gets mentioned. He'll just be like, "Boarding school was very tough on me." And I'm like, "Are you talking to me? What's going on?" He'll be like, "It was very hard."
John worked way too much. Edgar looked at him as a father. John felt like he was just helping an orphan.
Yeah, you're not my boy. You're an orphan boy. That's what you are.
Keep saying that, Daddy.
No. Do not say something like that, boy. I'm not your daddy. No, put your bloody hands down.
Daddy, hold
no,
me.
Daddy, not hold. Daddy, not here. You've no daddy. Daddy drank. Daddy took off. Daddy gone. Daddy not replaced. Daddy, this guy, John, not Daddy. Daddy, different man. Daddy in the ground. Do you understand? Your daddy's not here. I'm not your daddy. No, listen to me. Not Daddy. Not Daddy.
You said it a bunch.
No, I've never said that. I'm saying no.
You won't stop saying
Not Daddy. Not Daddy. Not Daddy. Not Daddy.
You fucking cunt.
No, what did you just? What have you just bloody said to me, boy? I might actually be your daddy. I like that piss of vinegar inside of this
I
lad.
meant it in the English way. We're in England.
I
We're
know,
in
but I
England.
still think it's abrasive. If someone were to be listening to this, overhearing it, I still think they'd find that a bit abrasive. I mean, you just shouted the C word. Do you know what I mean? They just shouted the bloody even no matter where we are. I know it's the way a bit, but I just don't think. I still think, even with that caveat, that it's not like, you know what I mean.
But by the way, Tony Martin, who is the English comedian gentleman, he has a podcast, and sometimes they do "Did Someone Squeak Out a Fart Here?" and they played a cut of us thinking we had farted, but it wasn't when I farted.
They thought it was.
I remember them all. Yeah, they thought it was me, and they said, "This is what he farted." I was like, "I really didn't fart there. Actually, that's not a fart." So I'm making fart noise when I don't even know I'm making fart noises.
What? This is like, I feel, of all the things that have happened to us, I feel like I feel like we've made it based on. If we're being brought into fart conspiracies on other shows, I think that's pretty.
Yeah. No, I said I went. They were talking about it on Reddit, and I went in. This is I absolutely did. I have farted.
Oh, you addressed it on Reddit.
I said I will totally cop to when I fart on a show if you catch me, but this was not one.
Oh man.
Anyway, that's what's going on out there in the world. That's topical stuff. We'll get back to the story.
Yeah, right. This is a history show.
So Fanny really doted on Edgar, but she is also always ill, and she has a condition where she's in pain a lot. John thinks that's all in her head.
That's cool.
Like,
by the way, that's very
get
Scottish.
over it.
Yeah.
He said she was complaining. Like, you're complaining.
This is every Scotsman I've come into contact with is pretty similar.
So that's one of the reasons he was sent to boarding school. So 5 years later, the London tobacco market falls, and that's a lot of what he sold. So everything just kind of falls apart, and they have to come back to Richmond, Virginia. But now they're not nearly as well off as they were before. They're
right.
Financial.
Different vibe.
It's tough.
Right.
Yeah. So Edgar did well in school. His schoolmaster called him, quote, a born poet.
And this is when that was good.
Yeah.
Like, whereas now you'd be like, that's not applicable to this economy.
Well, I hear that a lot of Silicon Valley and just a lot of new companies are starting to hire a corporate.
Well, have you ever done Uber Poet?
Uber?
Yeah. Uber Poet's great. Oh fuck! I got to tell you, it's real dystopian out here now. It's pretty. Very. It's pretty bad.
Yep, we're dystopianing. Yeah. Okay, so Edgar asked John if he will pay to publish a book of poems, but John had been warned by one of his professors that it would just give him a big head, so don't do that. So the schoolmaster's the one who's like, yeah, he's really good, but then this professor is like, yeah, no, don't.
One good investment he could be making right now.
So Edgar, he's very popular, he's ambitious, he's very competitive, also very athletic. He used to have friends hit him in the chest to show he was fearless.
Now,
like a boxer.
I'm gonna jump in and say that to me does not venture into athleticism. No,
that's
not a sign
actually
of
how
no.
You know if you're going to be a good boxer is if you can just take endless punches to the chest.
I don't think anyone. I think there's a lot of other stuff you could be working on besides just how hard are you taking beatings to the heart,
headbutts to the nose, break a arm.
That's the Scottish influence there.
Yeah, it is. So he also was a swimmer, very good swimmer. He once swam 6 miles from the local
get
river.
Out of his ass. Why don't you just marry him?
He never became an Allen, though. He just remained Edgar Poe, and his brother and sister were both adopted by the families they were with. He was kind of close with them. He'd see Rosalie a lot, and then he'd write to Henry a lot. And as a teen, he really loved Fanny. He called Fanny Ma.
I love Fanny as a teen too.
Jesus. Remember what we were saying about keeping it clean?
Yeah, no, but I think that it's
a family.
Every now and then you got to take a bite of the low hanging fruit, otherwise it spoils.
We're gonna have to We're gonna have to check the super explicit box on iTunes for this one. Like
Hey,
crazy
by the way,
explicit.
As a teen, I checked a super explicit box sometimes too.
Oh.
Oh, I'm a skimp today.
So he calls Fanny Ma, but he also is always like seeking mother type figures to be in his life. He gets really close with Rosalie's adopted mom. He calls her
Interesting.
Ma also, so he's calling two women Ma.
Sure.
He starts seeking affection from his classmates' mothers.
Okay, now we're starting. Now I'm little troubling.
He gets really close with his best friend's mother.
Oh boy.
And a lot of people thought he was infatuated with her, calling her, quote, angel to my forlorn and darkened nature.
Oof.
I've done that. That's like that's how I talk about my mom.
That's
actually my dad. That's more my dad. But yeah.
You don't want your friend to be like forlorn for your mom.
No, you don't.
That's where you're like, hey, you're not coming over anymore. Please.
She would listen to all his problems and she would encourage his poetry, but she was very depressed, which annoyed her husband, who told her to just, quote, have a cheerful temper.
I can't get over ever the level of which just like all the mental health issues that women were going through to have a guy be like, shut up.
Get over it.
It's crazy right now.
Oh, I know. I see that you're bleeding out of your eye and it's hanging out of the socket. Let's go. Get over it. Pop it. Let's go.
All the time, all I think about is how I'm unhappy and everything in the world is just so tough. And I really feel overwhelmed.
I'm trying to enjoy the day.
I know, but I just feel you're my husband. I just feel overwhelmed by everything. And honestly, there are times when we go, hold on. There are times when we were going to go out and I just feel the highest levels of anxiety. And I want to be there because I know you want me to be there and you want someone to be there for you, but it's very tough for me.
I did not marry you to hear a bunch of whiny bullshit. I married you because I love you and I like the parts. But the whole thing about when you talk and say things that make me slightly uncomfortable,
right?
It makes me feel a little weird, and I don't appreciate that.
And she has to be like, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. That was.
Thank you. Was it so hard to apologize?
Yeah, it's just no. You're absolutely right.
Dudes rock. Yeah, I think that's what we're.
Dudes rock, and then, but then it's also like, like you gotta. It's just thinking of being a man back then would just be like, it would be so easy. Like, not that it's hard now, but you'd just be like, stop talking. It's bumming me out. And you're just like drunk all the time in your office. She's like, you drink too much. Oh my God, enough.
Let me be a man.
I'm a man. By the way, I've impregnated your sister. You can't go.
So she dies at 31, and that crushes Edgar. Another mother figure gone. He becomes super withdrawn and he becomes pretty mean. He would go to the cemetery at night and cry at her grave.
Oof, tough.
That's just how you do it.
It's tough.
Now, John is irritated.
You can do that through an app now, so that's better.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely. John is irritated because Edgar, his not real son, is now sulky.
Ugh. That's the worst situation for this love.
Quote, the boy possesses not a spark of affection, not a particle of gratitude for all my care and kindness toward him.
Fuck. Just awful.
he becomes by what he sees as Edgar being unappreciative. Rosalie's dad said John always reminded Edgar that he was dependent upon him.
That's cool. That'll get him out of the dumps.
That's great. That's how you treat
Yeah.
a kid. That's like,
Yeah. Everyone says that.
Yep. Edgar falls in love with Elmira Royster, and they're secretly engaged, as her parents don't like him.
Okay.
So the parents
That'll
start
help.
intercepting the letters that he sends. So Elmira thinks he's done with her because she's not hearing from him, and she gets engaged to somebody else.
Ah.
So John gets this big inheritance, and they move into a fancy house, and Edgar goes to the University of Virginia at 16.
Okay.
Other students say he's super moody. Now, he's
Sure.
had two moms die.
Two moms die,
his-
and then his letters intercepted, and his girl got engaged to someone else.
Yeah, and the school has a really bad culture.
And he lost both of his parents, and he's been sent to boarding school. I mean,
Yeah, it's not good.
yeah, you were like teeing him up.
So the school has really bad culture, and Edgar's younger than everyone else, so that's also harder. So there's all these entitled upper class students. They're very rowdy. They're very cruel. There were campus riots. At one they threw bricks at a professor.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's a good great.
Absolutely.
That's one of the ways to.
They'll forget. Well, once that's over, they'll clean the slate, and nobody.
They don't care.
Professors won't be influenced by that long term. When you threw a brick at their back.
One threw a bottle of urine through a professor's window.
Oh, that guy elevated the whole thing.
He really did. Eating was super common at the school. Students had drinking and
This is
gambling
my kind
problems.
of place.
Fights were super common. There were student gangs that just roamed the campus, and some professors would even join.
Can I just be clear that this was a school? Are you sure?
Kind of.
Okay, because it just sounds like a professor prison.
But some of the professors would join in with the gangs.
That's the best. When you're just like, Mr. Schmidt, like, fuck this place.
So Edgar is pretty unnerved by all this, and he would write to John trying to get some reassurance or some hopeful words.
Dude,
or whatever.
This guy has nobody.
And
God, I wish someone would bloody intercept these letters. This is absolute shit.
He once wrote John about seeing a student's head get bashed in with a rock, and like sometimes soon after, one student shoot at another student, and he saw a student bite and rip the flesh off another student's arm with his teeth.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
This sounds like they're in it.
What are they mad about?
I think it's just gangs fighting.
So there's just really no.
Well, what are the Crips and Bloods mad about? Like, it's just generational.
Well, no colors. That makes sense. I mean, that is. Imagine getting a letter from Finn that was like, "Hey, I saw a guy's head get bashed in with a brick, and then another guy got flesh ripped out of his arm. There's roving gangs. Sometimes the professors join in on the brick tossing at the other professors."
Yeah, but how's the chemistry class?
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, you got to get a grade up.
Huh.
So, like I said, cheating is common. So he writes this letter, and it's a terrifying letter. Edgar, he's just asking, hoping John will like reassure him that it's going to be okay or whatever. But John doesn't do that. He only visits one time, and he just happened to be in town on business. And he becomes annoyed with Edgar because he doesn't think Edgar is handling his finances well.
Edgar's handling his own finances well?
No, John would send him money. He doesn't think he's handling it well.
Okay, right. Again, if you are a heartless piece of shit, life's a lot easier. Like if you're just like, I don't want to go there. Violent. Sounds horrible.
So he isn't good with his money. He says John doesn't give him enough money to live. He's like, you give me half the amount that I need. And he starts gambling. Now, I think he uses not having enough money to start gambling as like I'll make more money to get by, whatever. He gets into debt.
Mm-hmm.
And now John is furious that he has to send Edgar money to buy books. And then when Edgar asks a second time for book money, John refuses. He's like, I already gave you fucking book money. So Edgar starts borrowing money from people.
Oh boy.
And he won. Now, here's an example. He's not good with money. He once spent a year's tuition on fancy waistcoats.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
What?
What? Wow. That is
Sorry,
an incalculable. What?
And a vest. Sorry, I left that out.
I don't even know the difference. I
Yeah,
would just,
fair.
to me, I think they're the same thing.
I think a waistcoat goes around. It's a coat that goes around the waist.
The vest is, I feel like they're
It's
the
like it sounds.
He probably made
It's-
that
no, it's like a
distinction as an excuse for why, you know what I mean? He was probably like, all on bloody waistcoats. And he's like, and vests. And vests. Don't sleep on the vests.
At the end of his first year, Edgar comes home in shame. He's $2,000 in debt, which is a lot of fucking money for them. I didn't put it in, but $2,000 in the
Yeah.
early
lot.
1800s is bad.
Yeah.
And he starts getting taunted by the people that he grew up with, who were once his friends. John refuses now to send him back. He's like, "You're not going back to fucking school." And
He's like,
"You're
awesome.
No, he makes him be a clerk at his company.
Oh, shit. Okay.
One day, Edgar gets invited to a party, and he shows up, and then he finds out that it's an engagement party for Elmira.
Oh, Christ.
So things aren't going well for. This is not a good start.
Ugh, that's horrible.
Students now are pursuing him to make him pay his debts.
Pursue.
They're
They
coming
are
after him.
Oh,
for the
because his.
debt. The-
Oh,
the
I get you. Right,
guys-
right.
The gambling and the borrowing, they're coming for him.
And again, this is at college, you said?
No, this will be like the summer after your first year of college.
Oh, okay, cool.
He is threatened with jail, but John is still like, I'm not fucking covering your debts.
Nice.
So they start arguing a lot, and John throws Edgar out of the house. And then Edgar writes him a really angry letter saying John had humiliated him and said he'd never achieve great things and that he had no affection for Edgar. But so John, he basically saying you didn't give me enough money and you made me look like a fool, and you keep saying I'm never going to become anything, and you don't like me that much.
John's like, that's right. I'm glad you're finally picking up on all the things I've been. I felt like my actions have been quite clear until this point.
He sends that at the end of the letter. He asks John for more money.
That's the way to be fair, Dave, that's the way to end it. That's the way to end that letter.
Yeah. You butter
You're
him
not
down.
my real dad. You've never treated me like anything, and you'll never amount to anything. And as far as I'm concerned, you're nothing. Can I have a few $1,000s? Not for books.
Can I have money, man? So John sends back an angry reply, and he makes fun of Edgar for asking for money.
Bloody hell! That's the first line. Are you sure you've not had your head bashed in with a concrete brick, boy? You must be out of your bloody tits at this campus. I don't know what they're teaching you, but it's certainly not picking up what I'm laying down.
So Edgar writes back a nicer letter. He asks for his clothes.
Letters, I mean, we've talked about this before, but it is so goddamn funny to have to letter argue.
It really is.
The patience between the arguing is so fucking funny. Like, to see that letter and be like, I'm going to have to sit down to read this one.
I mean, you must just be like, because you get a letter and it's like days or weeks for you. So you must just be reading the letter over and over and just like pacing back.
Yeah, and just thinking and checking the mailbox, just like, is there? I mean, I'll even do that now over like some stupid shit, but like for a response from your father who you're having a letter fight with.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch, not even today.
So Edgar writes his letter and he's asking for his clothes, which apparently he didn't get when he got kicked out. He says he hasn't eaten in 2 days and he has nowhere to sleep. So John gets a letter and he doesn't respond. All he does is flip it over and write on the back, pretty letter.
That's our sponsor, right? That is a now. See, and he sends that back.
Yeah.
So that's actually the worst version. That's worse than a ghosting. Waiting that long, thinking you have it, being like, "This is my letter," and flipping it over and being like, "Pretty letter." Oh my god.
So good. So Edgar goes to Boston and he gets work at a merchant house. And in 1827, he's 18 years old. He publishes a book of poems called Tamerlane and Other Poems.
It's a great, for those of you who haven't read it, it's a great read.
It's real, yeah. Edgar's name, however, is not on. I don't know why his name is not on the book. It's just listed. It's listed as a Bostonian wrote this. So I don't get why that happened. He joins the army for 5 years because he's got nothing else. What else can he do? And it's peacetime, so he rises to the highest rank a non-commissioned officer can get. But he wants out. After 2 years, like, I can't do this for 5. So he talks to an officer, and the officer says he can leave, but only if he reconciles with John.
What's a sort of loving arm? Look, all right, I understand you want to go AWOL, and we get that.
I do. Yeah, it's really bad.
And of course, that makes total sense. There's not much going on, so we will release you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So you could pick up, what I would do is go to the barracks, get all your stuff. We have we will discharge you. There's just one thing that we here at the Army are looking for in exchange for
What's that?
this understanding is we're going to need you to, we just want you and your dad to kind of mend fences.
Wait, what?
We're looking for you and your daddy to have a little bit of
I'm sorry, this is
a relationship to hug.
This is the United States Army,
correct?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm your superior, and I'm not going to say this is an order because you'll be dismissed. But, I think just go talk to your dad and go.
Well,
tell him.
Can I just get out of the Army? Can I just leave? And the dad part?
No, the dad part's big. All of us have talked about it, and this whole thing with your dad is it's cutting us up.
All of you have talked about it.
Well, we're all talking about it, and we're just real cut up about it, and
the whole Army?
Here's what we're thinking. We're thinking that what you do is you go in and you charge through the door. If he won't let you in through that way, go in through the back. Then we want to load you up with arms. As far as both of your arms, we want them wide open, waiting for a hug. And you run towards. Hold on, and you run towards him. And this is Operation Papa Love You. And you go up there and you just hug him and you just cry and apologize and tell him how much you love him and tell him how much you care and let him know that you need him and that you love him. Okay. And that and hold on. We want to send a sergeant with you to be there to watch it.
Sir, it sounds like this is you're bringing a lot of your own issues into this.
No,
maybe your son or your father or whatever.
No,
did you have a dad?
No. Now listen, when you get back there, no. And when you get back, no. And when you get back there, you hug him and you tell him, "My dad exploded. My dad popped. My dad popped."
What does that even mean?
It's hard to explain, but that's just what the doctor said. And you hug him. And you love him. And when you're there, you tell him you love
him. Okay.
Or you could serve longer. So
I'm going to do the hug thing. Yeah, for sure.
Such a... All right, will you send the next guy in? He's got
Yeah, no problem.
He's got to propose to his wife before we let him go because he's about to hold on, I'm not done talking. He's about to let a good one go.
So the officer then ends up writing to John, and John responded.
So inappropriate.
It's so weird. The John responded, girly quote, "He had better remain as he is until the termination of his enlistment." So he's like, don't even bother.
Keep him in there for 3 more years.
Yeah, no interest. Edgar then writes, he's very calm, and he said he's a changed man, he's more mature. But at the end of the letter, he includes a threat. Quote, "If you determine to abandon me, neglected, I will Be doubly ambitious, and the world shall hear of the son whom you have thought unworthy of your notice.
Here's what's great. It's I love how he's just at the end. He doesn't have a closer. He's like the opposite. Like he's just like alienating you at the end of the letter. And what's great is to write something like that and then have us bringing it up in a podcast a couple hundred years later is like, this motherfucker showed this dude.
It's true. John doesn't respond to that at all. Edgar writes again, no response. He writes again. This time he takes responsibility for his past actions at the university and all that, but he also chastises John for not responding to his previous letters. And then he finds out Franny is sick, and he rushes home. But by the time she gets there, she was buried the day before.
It's tough.
He's crushed, even though he didn't write her the whole time. That he was.
Well, still,
but he's busy. Crushed.
Right.
John is now surprisingly nice, right? He just lost his wife. So yeah, he's all of a sudden super nice to Edgar. He buys him a new suit and clothes, and he agrees to help Edgar leave the army and to get him into West Point.
Okay.
Which is what Edgar wants. So John says he, quote, forgives all. And he writes to Secretary of War, who apparently he has a relationship with, to help get Edgar into West Point. And
we will accept Edgar, but we just want to see you guys really hug it out. We've all been talking about it, and it's just pretty.
I'm starting to wonder what you guys do at the.
Well, we're in a downtime right now, so we're sort of, we're in between wars and stuff like that. So we're really trying to.
It's mostly familiar relationship things.
We're trying to fix a lot of families. Yeah, is that crazy?
Yeah.
What I would suggest is go find your dad and give him a big hug, and don't be afraid to press your face into his neck and then into his ear say, "I love you, Daddy," and see what he says. That's the sort of stuff we're really excited to see here.
Sounds good.
From
I gotta get out of here.
And we're excited to have you, but we're just gonna need to see you. We're just gonna need to see you really lay it all emotionally on the line here.
I made bad choices.
Yeah, and tell that to your sweet old dad, John. Tell him, hey, before you go do that, how about a practice hug on the commandant? Come here. Come on. Come here. There you go. Oh, you little. Oh, I love you. I love you. God, you got a good smelling set of hair. Oh, you do though, huh? Get out of here, you little. Bugle him out, boys. Play the bugle for him. We love you, buddy. We're excited to see you, buddy.
So Edgar's put on the wait list at West Point, but months go by and he's not getting in, and John starts to get suspicious. He thinks Edgar isn't trying hard enough and doing what he has to do to get in.
Gambling.
And they fight. They start arguing a lot. And one time John gives Edgar $100, but then Edgar's like, "Oh, my cousin stole it. I have 100 more." So they really get into it.
This is classic.
John gets really angry when Edgar says he has written a really long poem called Al-Araf, and he's looking for a publisher, but he's using the money John gave him because publishers won't print it unless they're reimbursed ahead of time in case the poem doesn't sell.
It's great insurance policy these publishers have. So what do you do exactly? I'm the guy who makes it happen, but I got to cover my ass. What are you talking about? Can't just be laying it on the line. If I published every poem, I'd be in the fucking hole, a shitload.
So he asked John for $100 to do this, and John is going to give money for something that's as unimportant as a poem. And he's annoyed that Edgar is spending any time on poetry. He should be trying to get into West Point. But then a famous editor published some excerpts from the poem, and he calls it exquisite nonsense, but says it's a big future.
So weird.
Edgar is elated. Now a publisher comes forth and is willing to publish him. And so he publishes, this is called Al Tamerlane and Minor Poems. And he publishes under Edgar A. Poe, A for Allen. So he's throwing in his.
Do you know why we did that for you, Edgar? Do you know why we did that for you, buddy?
Why?
I just think it's a nice thing to do for your sort of dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like everybody is like, I just
Well,
want to
no.
kind of.
Come on now. We're just trying to.
I just want to just kind of do my own thing and not. I don't like having.
No, we love the work. We love the work.
We love the work.
Yeah,
to
we
get
love the
into
work.
my business.
We love the work. Yeah, absolutely.
With my not dad, by the way.
Right.
Not with my not
well,
dad.
let's come on now. Let's not say stuff we can't take back in front of
all the time.
Oh, Edgar, there's no doubt the truth lies somewhere in the middle, but I just think what man? Let me ask you this, and I'm saying this just as a guy. No, don't shake your head. What man is not going to listen when a man comes to him, even if it's his son, his not son, but a guy he helped raise for a long time, comes to him, hat in hand, and says, "I'm sorry for the things I did wrong. I love you so much." Have you tried doing something like that? Okay, well, the knife is... Put the knife away. Put the knife away.
Yeah, I've written some letters saying exactly that. He doesn't want to be my dad.
But you're not... Can we call
you...
How
would you know?
Okay, hold on. How about a poem called Daddy's Baby Boy?
I gotta go.
Can you write something like that? Just try it?
I'm not writing daddy poems. I write creepy shit.
I know. And we love you for it, bud.
It's my style. I'm not going to switch to daddy stuff.
And we love your style, but maybe you kiss your dad a little on the neck.
Have you? I'm not going to kiss my dad on the neck.
Why?
Because it's
He's
weird.
He's a good guy.
What the fuck is your problem?
Come on. Don't be like that. Gosh. Artists.
The Dollop brought to you by Squarespace. Yeah, Squarespace is it's our best friend.
It's our best friend. How about this? How about this? Last night, I'm doing a show, and I don't even remember what I'm talking about, and someone shouts out Squarespace. Yeah. That's how much we love Squarespace. It's public. It's a public.
And that person was correct.
Yes.
Squarespace is an all-in-one website, domain. They got everything you want to do in one little situation. They got it. We have all of our websites with Squarespace. My personal, your personal. We got the Dollop podcast.com where you can get your tour tickets and our source page. We're all in. Everybody is Squarespace because they're the best, because it's super easy to use, 24/7 support. Templates are fantastic. That's why I first started using them, and I've been working with Squarespace for over 10 years. That's how.
So have I.
They babysat Finn for a while.
I've been with Squarespace a lot long. I've been with Squarespace since '88.
I thought they had a restraining order.
Well, yeah, but that stop. Let's just get back to the copy.
You want if you want to do like Gareth does and have a video collection. Gareth has a lot of feet stuff up. Like, you can host video content. You can organize your video library. You can showcase your content on these really great video pages. Sell access to your videos with a members area like Gareth does. He's got. I think you sell 8 out of the toes, right? Like big toe, little toe, middle toe.
It's all of it. Whatever, all the piggies.
Yeah. You can have an online store. You can sell your products. Physical, digital service products. They got everything you need to start selling online, and you can do custom merch. You can sell it and create a passive income stream if that's what you want. You can engage the audience.
Yeah.
You can design your products and production and inventory and shipping. It's all handled for you right there. Save you time and money. It's all Squarespace. Squarespace is all you need. That's all you need in life. You don't need
anyone or anything.
Or housing or food. You just need Squarespace.
This is it. Yes, exactly.
Head to Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Dollop. Save 10% of your first purchase of a website or domain.
Boom. Just happened.
Gareth, the Dollop also is brought to you by hymns. You looking for a little boost in the bedroom? Hims is here to help with a little personalized ED treatment. It's all online.
Yep.
It's all anonymous. You can do it without going to see someone and talk to them in the face.
Well,
Do it over the
that's
phone,
talking.
so you don't have to make it awkward. Comes in a little brown package to your door when you order
Yep.
it. You know, life is stressful. Sometimes a little guy doesn't work out. I know for Gareth, it doesn't work a lot. But Hims provides treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer.
There you go.
It gives you a little boost of confidence if you have a
Who
problem.
doesn't want that?
With that
Who
sort of
couldn't
thing.
use a little
Well,
more?
Look, man, if you're having problems in that area, honestly, get help. There's no reason to suffer through that. Not in today's world. Absolutely not. You can go to him, call him up, get right back on the horse, as they say. And if it's a horse, take yourself to the doctor or the police.
Sure. Hmm.
What? I didn't hear you.
No, just go.
So Hims provides, it's got a bunch of different doctor trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis. Generic, so 95% cheaper, which is 95% cheaper. 100% online, like I said. No uncomfortable doctor visit where you have to look at a guy like Gareth. So to start your free online visit today at hims.com/Dollop, that's HIMS.com/Dollop, for your personalized ED treatment options, hims.com/Dollop. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved or verified for safety or fairness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
There you go.
And Gareth, here brought to you by Nutrafol. I take Nutrafol, so it gives me this beautiful head of hair up here.
You noticed
so
the
Nutrafol,
difference
I
pretty.
did notice new. So
Yeah.
Nutrafol is a supplement that helps you with head growth. They've had a women's version of this for a long time that a lot of women really like. So they made a men's one, and I started taking it, and everybody has noticed the difference. My wife, my hairdresser, my friend Josh was like, "You do plugs?" Like everyone is asking about my hair. It works.
That's
It
crazy.
works. We kissed.
Who?
Me and Josh.
You
That's
almost
how
said
nice my
Gareth.
hair was.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. I mean, the point is, it's helping you get thicker hair, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You got a little secret that you can use, and I'm sure it grows your toe hair too if you're a hobbit.
I don't think that. Nobody's
You don't
requiring
think
that.
so?
No. I don't even
Well,
think
the
in Hobbit
hobbits-
world. I don't think in Hobbit world that's counting for much.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I just thought, well, look, thinning hair, it's very common. And it's very frustrating for us to deal with. It causes you to be stressed, and then you lose more hair. It can be anything from nutrition to hormones to lifestyle. So there's a lot of internal factors that come out through a bald head, and then you got Nutrafol to help you. That's what it is. I mean, look, if you don't like you going bald, try something.
There you go.
Again, we have options today, and Nutrafol is a great one. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. In just 3 to 6 months, go from a hat guy to hair guy with thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with by shedding. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are formulated using 100% drug-free ingredients. Their patented technology provides consistent, reliable results. Men also reported no compromise in sexual performance. To start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol, for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter promo code TheDollop. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men, promo code TheDollop. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code TheDollop.
Yes.
So it's mostly received as promising, but people think it's needlessly overcomplicated. He does get accepted at a West Point. He's a very good student, but he lies a lot while he's there to make himself seem more exciting than he is. He says he's traveled the world. He said he graduated from an English university, and he said he was Benedict Arnold's grandson.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
That's the biggie. That's when you're like, that's
You're
a
cocky.
hard one.
It's a cocky lie. That's when you're like, man, these are really playing out well. It's a cocky fib.
He also wrote little sort of vicious little poems about instructors, and all the cadets loved it. During his first year, John gets remarried to a much younger woman. So John, it turns out, had also been having an affair with Fanny, and he had illegitimate kids. So now he has illegitimate kids, and he also has he's going to have kids with this younger woman. So it doesn't look good for any money Edgar will ever get.
Right.
So John sends Edgar what he called his final letter, saying he wants nothing more to do.
He's firing him.
Yeah, he's like, I got a new hot lady. I got some side stuff going on.
Firing your kind of son.
I don't need a weird kid thing going on. You're fired. So, that's like the last sort of tether of anyone in the world that he, could have relied on.
Right.
Edgar wrote back and, he said he had heard that Edgar was talking shit to an officer at West Point about him. So that was like the final straw for John.
It's so like, it's just,
I
heard you've been talking a lot of shit, so fuck off. I'm done. I've got new ones in here.
So Edgar writes back and says, well, if you do that, I'll quit West Point. And John just doesn't respond because he's like, no, I remember the dumb thing. I'm done.
Yeah.
So Edgar stops doing his duties. He starts getting tons of disciplinary infractions. And then they court-martial him for gross neglect of duty and disobedience. And he gets himself kicked out.
Is that when you don't flush the toilet? Is that when you don't flush the gross neglect of duty?
Even though he'd been happy there. Like he was happy, but he blows all up to spite John. So he has no money and he's out in the world. So he goes south. As he's going south, he becomes sick. And he writes to John, quote, my ear discharges blood and matter continually and asks for money. Which is how you do it. You're like, that's how you do it. That's how.
Oh, fuck that.
This is the best money ask yet. Like he's like, man,
my
there is
ears discharging.
There's so much blood coming out of my ears. Can I get a 20?
What do I have in common with my ear? We've both been discharged. And he's like, I'm bloody fucking hell. I said I am done with you. Stop bloody writing me. Hey, Dad. So my ear's a bit of a bloody gunk.
So he doesn't even respond. Or John doesn't respond. He's like,
yeah,
okay,
he's done.
Bloody ear guy. Say, done is done, man.
Well, to the Scottish, too, that doesn't sound as much. It's like, Dad, I've got a bloody ear. We've all got bloody ears. 2 of them. God gave them to us.
So Edgar goes to Baltimore because he has an Aunt Maria who is known as Muddy and her 6-year-old daughter, Virginia, and they live there, but they're very poor. But he moves in with them, and that's also where his brother Henry is. So he reunites with Henry, and they're very close. But then Henry dies of alcoholism a couple of months later.
Jesus Christ. Just don't get attached.
Let me just say, dying of alcoholism at 24 means you were fucking balling, like you were killing the alcohol.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, 24.
You're really
going
for it.
I mean, yeah.
Gin bread.
So obviously that doesn't help his already depressed state. He gets another pamphlet of his poems published. Poems of Edgar Allan Poe, 2nd edition. It doesn't sell at all.
Sticking with that. Okay.
Yeah. The name's not right. So it doesn't sell. And 2 reviewers just said it's bizarre. The theme is death.
That's a great critic thing. Bizarre.
Well, this is fucking weird. What is this shit? My review is, what is this shit?
Not good. Super confusing.
So, it's all about death. Now, death, popular literature on death is usually, it consoles the reader, but Edgar's does not do that. That makes it not popular. So he struggles to make money, and he writes love poems to young women that he meets, including to a cousin. And he starts seeing Mary Starr and then proposes to her, but he can't support himself. And then another thing happened where once he showed up at her house, and he was super drunk, and he ended up chasing her down an alley. So that's not great for courting.
Well, that's what we all express love differently.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say.
It's not, you're not chasing to attack, you're chasing to hug and to kiss. It's so vastly different from
down. And,
yeah. I think these alley chases often get framed as predatory, which I just think.
Yeah, then they're not. They're just
Yeah.
chases.
No.
He does become known in Baltimore's literary scene. A paper published one of his stories, but didn't include his name. I don't know why they do that. It was about
that's weird.
It was about an orphan's revenge. You can imagine. I don't know where that subject came from. He published comedic stories, which included a lot of violence. He enters writing contests. He does win best story once. It was published in the paper that ran the contest, The Visitor. But he had edited for best poem, and then he learned best poem lost to The Visitor's editor, who was using a different name.
Oh wow.
So he goes down to The Visitor's offices and insults the editor, then punches Edgar, and then they get to a little scrap and they get separated.
Wow.
So in 1833, John dies. Edgar is not in the will. He later wrote to a friend, quote, "The want of parental affection has been the heaviest of my trial."
Oh, that's sad.
I say he's not doing well.
Yeah.
This is a terrible life so far.
Yes, totally agree. A lonely life, a man pining for love in any direction, and it's expressing through his poems that are going so, and
every time he attaches to someone, they're dying or whatever.
Right.
His clothes now are just like old and patched and falling apart. And a friend invites him to dinner, but he said he can't go because he has nothing to wear. And the friend gives him $20 to buy clothes. And when he arrived at the dinner, the friend said he felt he'd bought Edgar back from, quote, the very verge of despair.
Wow.
So he's just craving anything, right?
Yeah.
He did have some hope, though. He was corresponding with Thomas White, who was editor of the Southern Literary Messenger in Richmond, Virginia. And White offers him $60 a week to write. It's like $2,000. That's good. That's a good salary. And Edgar also falls in love with his cousin, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Who he'd been living with since she was 6. She's now 12.
Oh, no. Boo, 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 boo. Whoa, dee, ba. No. Wow.
Edgar's 26.
Oh, Christ. That is just so.
Yeah.
What is that? That's the nature versus nurture shit. But back then, it was just like.
I know it happens, but I've said this before, I think, on here. I can't imagine watching a girl grow up.
Yeah.
And then wanting when she's older. And she's not even older here, but I can't even imagine that side of it.
If you were the same age.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see something there.
I'm talking about an adult looking down at a child grow up.
But that's what I mean. Like, what is that? Like,
it's just.
Obviously, we still have that, but it just seems like back then weird. You were like, yeah, whatever. It's a complicated. I mean, look, it's complicated. She doesn't have a job. I'm in between gigs. Like, we don't have the money. I'm a grown fucking man. She's a child.
So, he wants to marry her, but then he finds out a cousin of theirs, Nielsen Poe, offered to take Muddy and Virginia because he wants to save her from marrying Edgar because she's fucking 12.
Yeah, good. Finally,
Even then,
this is our hero.
bad. It's even then people are like, "What are you
Okay.
doing? She's 12." Like, even
Stop
then.
it. Come on.
But her financial and social standing would improve living in Nielsen's. And Edgar thinks if she does go live with Nielsen, he'd never see her again. He did concede she might be better off
Yeah.
in that life, but he berates Muddy for even considering it. Quote, "Oh, Auntie, you loved me once. How can you be so cruel now?"
Oh, fuck. I honestly, that is some really gross shit.
Yeah.
At least we
He also-
eventually figured out we could just take them and put them on an island.
Note he includes in the letter to Muddy includes a note for Virginia, quote, "My love, my own sweetest sissy, my darling little wifey, think well before you break the heart of your cousin Eddie."
I cannot fucking believe you name drop cousin in that as well. I mean, just seriously, you got a lot of, you're throwing a lot of weights on this uphill struggle. Ugh.
He lies and he says he has now a very lovely little house in Richmond.
This is what dads hug your sons, even if you don't mean it. Hug your sons. Give your sons a hug.
And then at the end of the notes, he says he'll kill himself.
Oh, Christ.
So
She's 12. She's
12.
1800s 12.
Yes. Edgar starts drinking heavily at this point and he gets fired from his job. So he goes down to Baltimore and gets a marriage license. It is believed they then secretly wed. Again, because she's way too young.
Yeah.
That's why it's secretly wed. Because even for fucking 1840s Virginia, she's too fucking young. So he takes Virginia and Muddy to Richmond. There they learned that he doesn't have a house. Must have been a great moment.
Jesus Christ, Edgar.
He talks White into giving him his job back, but he has to swear not to drink. Quote, "No man is safe who drinks before breakfast."
Who's saying that?
Boss.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that's your employee.
Yes, absolutely. This is a revelation of the times.
So Edgar swears off booze, and White not aim Edgar as an editor because it could hurt his reputation. But that's basically the job he does. He did publish a lot of work of his own work in the magazine.
Okay.
His stuff is vivid and creepy and very different than what White wants to embody in his what he called Virginia simplicity for his well-off readers. One Edgar story, Bernice, A Tale, is about a man becoming infatuated with his female cousin's teeth. The cousin is buried alive, and he digs her up and rips her teeth out. This dude is like, okay, so what? So he writes what your dreams would be when you're going through, right? So that's the kind of thing that you'd be like, hey, to your shrink, you'd be like, so I had this dream where I rip out my cousin's teeth.
Yeah.
And you go, and then she's like, do you think guys with you plucking a 12-year-old out of her life to destroy her and marry her? Like it,
Yeah,
like
you're not like, hey, let's print this. Like imagine reading the paper, like, I feel freaking sick. It's crazy.
Well, people wrote in to complain. They're like, what the fuck is this shit? So he's basically writing in what is a very popular Gothic fiction style, which is like known for stories with rotting corpses and haunted portraits and stuff like that. People at this time are very terrified of being buried alive because of premature burial. So coffins had bells in case you wake up buried. Yeah, you remember.
Just, I mean, that's like the Shark Tank of that. Hi, sharks. As you all know, we're all struggling with this new buried alive thing, which is why today I present to you the ring funeral. So basically what the ring funeral does is this is a way that if you are in your coffin and you do wake up and gain total consciousness, you can communicate with those above soil that you are actually in there and should be dug up again.
Now, is this something you're looking to license or do you want to sell it?
I need a partner. I need a
You
partner.
need a
I
partner.
need somebody.
You need a
Look,
partner.
our sales aren't there, but we just haven't gotten the word out just yet. You know, obviously this is an epidemic right now. So
Well,
I'm
yeah, I
looking
mean,
for
I'm
someone
concerned
to,
about it. I mean, I think we're all concerned about waking up alive in a coffin.
and while my margins don't reflect necessarily the growth you want, you have to understand that once I can make these in bulk, I'll be able to save a lot of money. Right now I'm paying
Now,
a coffin guy, a bell maker.
can you do anything with the blood coming out of my ear?
That's a separate pitch.
Okay.
I'm out.
Now, who's the young girl behind you?
Oh, sorry, I should point this out. This is my child wife. She is super helpful. Yeah, go ahead. I handed around buckets if you guys want to take a look at them.
All
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right, I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
I
And
think
there's
we're
just
off to
one
the back.
shark in this time, so that's pretty much it, I guess.
So Edgar's a big reviewer of other people's work. Like in each issue, he would do about 15 pages of reviewing stuff. Over
I'll
his
tell
life,
you,
he's
Edgar has more issues than this newspaper.
Edgar for the things he wrote, but in his lifetime, he was known for his reviews.
Okay.
He was known as like a vicious critic. He just rip apart grammatical errors, whatever he tear it apart. Sometimes he'd rewrite lines to show how the writer could be improved. So he'd rewrite
Okay.
what someone had written and be like, "You should have done it like this."
Right.
He became known as the Tomahawk Man.
Oh, wow.
He made fun of David Crockett's book or its vulgarity of language.
There we go. I like that. Finally.
You like vulgarity of language?
Oh, I like that he's like fucking taking it to Davy Crockett. This pedophile.
He called another book a jumble of absurdities, another Crockett book. He loved just tearing apart popular books and authors. He hoped to make American authors become less of an embarrassment on the international scene.
Oh,
But that's what
this is the guy who's going to help with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. But that's what he is. He's a literary reviewer. That's what he's most famous for.
Right. Okay.
He is happy with his family, living in a boarding house, not the little house he promised. He married Virginia Pablo. She turned 14, so it's time. It's time.
Man, you know how that things are bad when you're like, we've waited long enough. Let's go public. She's 14.
But even then, it's considered too young.
Yeah.
People are
Well,
like,
good.
"Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's weird." So yeah, so they get publicly married. He tells everyone she's 21. Is very she's not 21. She looks okay. This is where it gets even creepier. If you can
Oh,
get
shit.
creepier, it's about to get creepier.
I think we're entering no joke zone.
She looks like a child. She
Right.
is described as plump and small for her age. So his sister brings Virginia to the school she teaches at, and said Virginia was, quote, as much a child as any of the pupils, joining in their sports of swinging and skipping rope. So she's a child. She's an even though she is now 14,
Married
she's an
to a
immature.
grown
She's
man.
she's an immature 14. And part of that might be because
It's
she didn't get a child because this guy
stunted,
took
yeah.
her. But as far as sex, Edgar said he did not act as a husband toward Virginia for 2 years. I mean,
After this 14-year-old wedding?
well, I don't know, right? Because officially 14s, maybe that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, right.
Some historians question whether they ever had sex. And people believe he was impotent and that love for him was more like a brother to a sister. Maybe, but I don't know. He is a fucking great alcoholic, so I don't like. This is not. Yeah, whatever.
There's
Gross.
It's
It's
I mean,
gross.
honestly, trying to be like, here's why it's not as bad.
Yeah, right. That's
He couldn't
where
get
I'm
his
like,
dick hard.
So White is very nervous about Edgar's past and all of his brutal reviews, and he asks Edgar to resign. So Edward does, and he leaves Richmond completely. Now, there's no record of Edgar for about 2 years. He, Muddy, and Virginia lived in New York City for a bit, and then they moved to Philadelphia. He took odd jobs as a printer. A friend of the family said Virginia and Muddy waited on him hand and foot as if he had been a child.
The
So
irony.
he's really drinking now. He's really drinking.
All
He
right.
doesn't publish much, but he did write his only novel, which was the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym, and that got some positive reviews, but didn't make him any money. In 1839, they move outside Philadelphia, and they're living in a completed section of an unfinished home.
What the fuck? That is the most like upselling of the space ever. This is a completed section of an unfinished home.
So you can't
$2,500 a month.
Any of the other rooms you can't use because obviously there's no walls. They're just
There's no
frame.
this
It's a
is
frame.
this is a room based on floor and furnishings.
And
So-
there's not floor in a lot of places.
Yes, right. There is missing floor, but it is but your area is what we call completed. So it's
It's done.
$2,300 a month. Pretty standard. Parking is included because there's nothing around it. So that's great.
Also, there's
pets
no
are
cars.
okay. There's no cars, right? There's no cars, so that's not even going to be an issue. Pets are okay. Pets are accepted. I'm trying to think what else.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you said art,
I'm sorry?
what were you talking about?
What do you mean?
Well, you said parking, and then you said there's no cars yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering what a car is.
What a car is?
Yeah, you said there's no cars
parking.
yet. Right, but when the cars come, what will the cars do? I guess is what I'm asking.
They'll be able to park right around here. That's what they'll do.
Okay, but what is parking?
Parking is a person.
Are you a wizard? Are you a real estate wizard? I'm just asking very, very plainly, as I've heard there have been a lot of real estate wizards around here. And I think you know the punishment.
All right, fine. You figured it out. Hug your father.
So he's poor, but he does have enough. He scrapes together enough money to buy a piano so he can hear Virginia play and sing.
It's crazy. Just the
It's
absolute,
insane.
the
It's
financial instincts are
It's not
way
good.
up. Such a purchase, especially putting in a completed section of an unfinished. I'm guessing you don't have piano space.
Yeah. His job as an editor at Burton's Gentleman's Magazine, run by actor William Evans Burton. So he has to write about things he doesn't care about, like flower painting and using parallel bars and gymnastics. It's stuff he really doesn't care about.
I mean, to be fair.
But he still wrote in brutal literary reviews, even though Burton told him to stop being so cruel to everybody.
Okay.
He called Washington Irving overrated. He accused poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow of plagiarism. Burton is like, stop with this shit. To increase sales of his work, Ed asked Irving for an endorsement. Pleading, quote, even a word or two, and my fortune would be made. This is such a drunk guy.
I cannot, Dave, this is one of those ones where I'm like, I don't know much about this guy, obviously, but I'm like, what I'm picturing and what he is are just so different. I am picturing a guy with like a quill and an inkwell just sitting there being like, this is it. But instead it's just like, this guy is just like such a degenerate piece of shit.
Yeah, he's just a drunk
begging
asshole.
for a word or two.
Yes.
Ugh.
So good. But I love that he insults the guy and then immediately asks him for
just a word or
endorsement. During this time, he wrote The Fall of the House of Usher And he wrote William Wilson, who it's about a man who's followed through life by an exact double of himself that he cannot escape. That's very much that's an alcoholic thing where they'll say like, I have a little monster inside of me or something like that. Like that's very like the unconscious
So
there.
I bought him a drink. One for me, one for the monster by me. Okay.
He's not paid much at Burton's. He has to take out loans. He did do some freelancing for some family papers, writing stuff like Getting Sugar from Beets and Swimming. He published puzzles, and then he asked readers to stump him by sending in their own puzzles. That became so popular and to ask people to stop sending puzzles.
Wow.
Enough. Okay.
Wow.
He put out another collection of work, Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque. He got mixed reviews on that one. A critic called it, quote, one of the most extraordinary narratives ever penned, while another said, quote, a greater amount of trash within the same compass would be difficult to find.
Fuck me. Critics.
But I think that's common for people who are really good at something.
What?
I think that when someone is like out there on the edge as an artist and doing shit that other people don't want to do, I think that there are people that just don't understand it and like it, and other people are like, well, this is fucking amazing. Like that's really common.
Right. Not for everybody. Yeah. I think that's very true. That's probably one of the things today about trying to be like in the creative space that's so annoying is that it's like, you know, it's like you, it's just, there's so many critics now that you actually hear it all.
Everyone's critic now. So he lived for praise. He loved praise. A friend, quote, no man living loved the praises of others better than he did. And
but that really speaks to the fact that he just wanted love. Like he's dying. I mean, they say that all the time about comedians and stuff. It's like you're damaged to some extent. You're looking for the approval of strangers to some extent. Yeah. However, then with like social media, we now see that lives in all of us. Yeah.
This guy was born in 1990. He would be a stand-up comedian.
Yes. And if he was born in 2010, he would be on Instagram and TikTok and do streams.
Yeah. He also said, whenever I happen to communicate anything to him touching on his abilities as a writer, his bosom would heave like a troubled sea.
Wow.
That's me and you. That's what I give you.
No.
Sometimes he anonymously wrote compliments of his own work in Burton's.
I do like that a lot. I like that when he got mad at that editor for winning that poetry competition, and now he's just doing it.
But that's like when Elon gets caught, like, responding to himself on Twitter.
Yeah, what is that? Adrian Dittman?
I think they determined that guy's real, but Elon has
if that guy's real, let's just drown him. That guy can't be real.
Well, I think he is, but I don't know.
I choose to believe that it's all Elon.
I mean, Elon, the guys who love Elon,
it's
nuts. It's a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
So he only worked at Burton's for 1 year, and they left because of animosity between him and Burton. He pushed friends away. Like that was kind of his thing. He was a big guy who pushed friends away. As Poe expert Steve Medeiros said, if Poe was knocking on your door, quote, you wouldn't answer the door because he would want something. As much of a genius as he is, charming as he could be, he could also be a real pain in the ass. So Edgar wants to start his own magazine. That's like, he's like, this is how I'll get out of like all this shit. I'll start my own. People like my writing. He can get out of debt. He can speak his mind. He can free from being, quote, forced to model my thoughts at the will of men whose imbecility was evident to all but themselves. So he's fucking idiots. He doesn't want to be around fucking idiots.
Yep. Understandable.
I get it.
Yep.
He would call it Pen Magazine. He went to Richmond to get funding, promising first issue in 6 months, starting on January 1st, 1841. So he gets subscribers, he gets investors. But there's no magazine
Is
come
that
January 1st.
do you need
Well,
that to have one?
He said starting it was a lot harder than he anticipated. And he'd also been sick for a little while. But the first issue is coming in March.
Right.
You
Okay.
bet you,
So
you
just
bet
kind
your
of
sweet fucking ass.
regroup.
And it's going to
Regroup.
be, quote, glorious. It's going to be
Great.
glorious.
Great.
So March comes, no magazine.
Okay. So that's
But there had been a bank panic. So that's why he didn't.
Right.
Now he needs to get a job.
right.
Graham's magazine, it was owned by George Rex Graham, hires Edgar for $800 a year.
A year?
It's
Wow.
it's very successful. Doesn't really publish Edgar's kind of stuff. It was known for illustrations of fashion trends and piano music for
Well,
the people who play at home.
he did get a piano for his child wife.
Thank you. So he knows the world.
Yeah.
He goes back to his cruel reviews,
So he's
but
just
he just starts doing it in this one.
snarky.
Author Henry James would later call his reviews, quote, pretentious, spiteful, and vulgar, but they contain they can turn a great deal of sense and discrimination as well. George Bernard Shaw called Edgar the greatest journalistic critic of his time. So people love his reviews.
Right.
So he's no poor. They love them.
Right.
In April 1841, he published a short story called The Murderers in the Rue Morgue in Graham's magazine. It was about a man who solves two women's murders in Paris. So this is the world's first modern detective story.
Ooh. Okay.
And it's a new genre. People fucking love it. One magazine said, quote, it proved Mr. Poe to be a man of genius. Graham's subscription rate shoots up. Edgar's now earning more than he ever has. But he complains, quote, I feel more and more disgusted with my situation.
Wow. This
Okay,
guy just
so
can't.
Let's just say there's been two moments in his life when it's been going well. West Point, he destroyed that. Graham. Now he got it.
This
Going
especially
well.
because he's creatively writing.
Yeah. But he was sick for writing for a magazine he doesn't like and didn't like it when Graham asked him to tone it down. Edgar felt he was praising ninnies, and in April 1842, he quits.
Wow. Fuck. Okay.
One day, Virginia is sitting at her piano playing. One blood starts to drip out of her mouth.
Is
She has
that
tuberculosis. It's not
Okay.
good. It's not
okay?
supposed to do that.
No, that was my question. I wasn't sure if in the
Yeah.
era if people were doing that or
No, it wasn't good then either. It's not a
Okay.
time thing. Your body's not
Okay.
supposed to bleed from its mouth.
So there's it. Just to be clear, anytime you're doing that, that's
yeah,
you don't want
that's
that.
the
Yeah,
problem.
okay. I just
Yep.
think sometimes
You
people
should
don't
go to
know.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No,
great,
go
gotcha.
to a doctor. Yep.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
She has tuberculosis. For 2 weeks, they give her rest. They put her in this room. It's so cramped that her head almost touches the ceiling when she's laying in bed.
She's probably laying on a piano.
The family also lives across the street from an open sewer lot. What's an open sewer lot, you ask? Well, that's where people bring all of the feces from the outhouses and chamber pots, and they spread it out to dry so they can be used as manure. So they're living across the street from, I'm going to say, bad property. That is not-
How much feces are you dropping off so I know how much I've got to spread out? Get the big knife. Oh, that
She can barely-
job.
She can barely breathe. Well, the whole thing, the job, the block, all of it, the whole.
Just bringing it. All right. Well, I'm going to go to the shit farm.
Doing that where people don't live.
Yeah, seriously. Just like,
That's
ugh,
an option.
ugh.
Edgar would let anyone discuss the obvious condition she had. Whenever anyone would mention it or say that she was dying, it, quote, drove him wild. He writes a story called Life in Death, in which a painter takes his very young sick bride, makes her pose for hours, and will not accept his wife's death when it happens.
Hmm.
He also wrote The Map of Death, describing an illness much like Virginia's. So now he starts drinking again, hard. On a trip to find work in New York, he drank so much that he botched an interview at a newspaper, and he blamed it on others encouraging him to drink. It's not my fault. This guy Larry's like, do you
Who's
want
Larry?
do you
Who
want
is Larry?
Oh, that's what I keep asking. So Larry.
Well, who's Larry?
I
Who's
don't know.
Larry?
He's the guy with the whiskey. He was just like,
Well, why did you consume this before the interview?
I can't say no.
Well, why did you? But that's the
That's
problem. Then
rude.
this isn't Larry's.
Rude. Is this
isn't
rude
Larry's fault.
workplace?
No, it's
Larry's
not a rude.
fault.
It's a newspaper. I mean, we need you to be on your game. No, I did hear you. I don't know if you remember the beginning of this interview.
Larry.
No, I don't need to hear any more about. No.
And Larry was like,
no. Well, then you should. Don't hang out with Larry. I mean, a lot of us don't think there's a Larry.
I don't.
Well, then how was he getting the whiskey in you? Explain that.
He's just there all of a
then
sudden.
Why wouldn't you leave if you knew that a horrible influence like that was there?
Maybe he was sent by God.
No, but then you believe. Then you're working. Are you drinking with him or not? Do you like him or not?
He's outside.
Well, then don't go near him. I don't know. You're not. Listen, you can't be here this drunk and get the job. That's just like a non-starter.
What job, man?
The newspaper job that you're interviewing to work at this paper.
I'm a newspaper guy. Yes.
Well, yes. I don't know. I don't think you heard what I just said to you. I don't know.
Puzzles.
What are the points?
People love. We do. You know.
I'm sorry. Are you still trying to get the job that I've told you there's no way you could get because of your relationship with Larry, who, whether you like it or not, is? Did you just look at my crotch?
This is the thing.
What?
This is the thing. Okay. You guys always blame everything on Larry.
I know you did. That's literally what you came in here and did.
I'm gonna write a story about you.
Okay, but not for us. Please go.
The black shit of publishing.
Okay, whatever.
Why don't you go? Why don't you go?
Well, I will leave the room. I don't want to be around you anymore, but
You go.
Okay, I'll go. All right, I'm out of here. Left.
Maya.
Okay. All right. Look, I'm coming back in. Get out of the office. Get out of the office.
Get fired.
I said, how do it works?
I'm getting out of here.
Good.
So it's New York. He decides he's going to go see his old friend Mary Starr.
Right. Okay.
She's married.
Sure.
So he goes to Mary's husband's work and get their address. I don't know why the husband gave the address, but the husband gave the address.
He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
It might have been because Edgar was very drunk.
He's a cool guy.
Now, Edgar is so drunk that he gets on the ferry to go over to Jersey City, and he can't remember the address. So he's on the ferry. He just keeps asking people on the ferry if they know where Mary Starr lives. And the ferry just goes back and forth with him asking people.
Oh, my God.
He somehow figures out where she is, goes to her house, and is just yelling outside that he loves her.
Ugh.
And he doesn't really love her husband.
Ugh.
He only leaves after she agrees to play his favorite song on the piano.
That is some real pathetic shit. What a great negotiation. Just go. I go, but just play my favorite song. Okay.
I mean,
sad.
This guy is just a fucking nightmare. This guy's a nightmare.
It's bad.
But he doesn't go back home. He's just in New York somewhere. He doesn't tell Virginia or Muddy anything. He just doesn't come back. So Muddy goes to New York and try to find him. She goes to Mary. Mary doesn't know where he is. She's just going all around New York, asking if anybody knows where he is. And then they finally find him wandering around in the woods in New Jersey.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Look at him. What a search you have to go through for that.
But to say,
Wow.
anyway, are artists tortured? Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
Oh God, what a
Wow.
fucking just. So.
Oh my God.
So he made light of this whole situation, which people know about because he's relatively well known now.
Right.
So he writes about it. He says that Mary's just a worrywart and she's overbearing. And he makes fun of Virginia for Fred. Quote, "What a thing to be pestered with a what?
Oh, this guy.
I was just
married a
lost in the woods for
child.
days."
Married a child. It's like, boy, don't get married. They're right up your ass. She was 12. Oh, come on.
Can a man wander around like some sort of bush?
Can't a man get lost in the woods for a week and a half on a blackout?
He now promises. He's like, all right, I'm going to stay sober. Doesn't last. See,
right.
He is the type of alcoholic that even just the tiniest amount of alcohol, bam, he's gone. So it touches his lips and then off he goes. His drinking becomes widely joked about. In Philadelphia, a Baltimore relative wrote him to warn him about how destructive alcohol was on their family members. I mean, his brother died at 24.
Right.
So he's 33. He is desperate for a job. A friend puts in a good word for him for a government job at a customs house.
I was going to say, get him involved in government.
Yeah. But they tell him repeatedly that he's not going to get the job. They're like, yeah, no, we're not going to hire you. Still, he's set on getting it. He goes to D.C. where he's going to talk to the president. This isn't set up. He's just going to do it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
About the job. He's like, if you want to get a customs house job, you go straight to the president.
No, I would say a presidential endorsement is pretty good.
It's a lot easier to get into the White House then. Like you could just not.
Yeah, just walk in. Am I going to get a job?
On the trip, he decides to find another backer for his magazine that he still hasn't started. And he says he's going to change the name. It's no longer going to be called Parent. It's going to become The Stylist. And he does, he has one partner. So in DC, he has a friend who says he's going to introduce him to the president. At least this is his story. And then the friend got sick and couldn't. So Edgar,
that's just, you just bail. I can't introduce you to the president. I'm sick.
I don't feel good.
Also, I don't exist.
He's like, well, I'll just get drunk here. He gets introduced to poet and journalist Jesse Dow, who can help him find a job because he's super connected. But Edgar gets so drunk that he wears his cloak inside out. Then he gets a haircut and doesn't pay. Then he insults Dow and his wife. He insults his sixth friend. He insults the president's son. He kind of insults everyone who could maybe get him a government job.
It's an interesting tactic.
Dow writes to Edgar's new magazine partner, whose name is Clark, that he's worried about getting Edgar back to Philadelphia safely.
Wow.
Now, Clark is surprised a couple of days later when he goes into his office and there's Edgar and he looks fine. He's not.
How have you been? Have you ever died in the Jersey woods? I have.
I'm fine. I didn't disappear, but I'm good.
Ugh.
Edgar tells me I was just a little sick. And then he writes these playful letters to Dow and another friend in DC, asking them to pass on his apologies to everybody for, quote, making such a fool of myself, and blamed being drunk on being offered rummy coffee.
It's those damn rummy coffees.
So it's Larry, man.
Well, what did Larry do? What did he do?
He had rummy coffee.
What does that mean? What does that mean? That's just rum and coffee?
Yeah, it's rum.
Well, why did you drink it? Why did you drink it? Well, that doesn't mean you have to drink it, though.
Well, Larry.
Why
had
did you
it,
drink
so-
Larry's rummy coffees? First of
It's
all, stop hanging out
Larry.
with Larry. Well, don't be around him. Don't be
I don't
around him.
know.
No. What do you mean you don't know?
I
Well,
don't
this
know.
is the disconnect. Don't be around
What?
him. You
No,
know he's going to
he's-
have rummy coffee.
He's a good guy.
No,
and I
he's
can't just
not. He's
say-
ruining your life.
I can't
Again,
say
we
no.
would love to get eyes on him, but if he is real, don't hang out with him.
He's real. There's
Okay, so
four,
stop hanging out with
several.
him.
There's a lot of them.
Okay,
There's
just
a lot,
well then
a lot
stop.
of Larrys. They're all over.
Oh, there's more than one? Okay.
Wow, a
this-
lot of Larrys.
all
They're
right.
so much whiskey and rummy coffee.
Yeah, well, that's a big problem for you. You have a drinking problem. Do you understand?
No.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Larry, I'd be fine. Yeah.
Exactly. I think you're accidentally making our point very clearly. Do you understand?
Is your name?
No.
Is your name Larry?
No, I'm not. No, I'm no. My name's
Do you have-
Greg.
Do you have
No.
a little? You have a little drink?
No, dude, what the fuck? This is what we're saying to not do.
I'm not doing it. You
And there's no Larry
is.
around.
Sure.
Okay. All right. You know what? I don't even remember what this was, but I'm leaving.
Yep, we're going.
No, you stay here.
You're fired.
I don't work for you, idiot.
Now you're really fired. You don't call your
Okay.
boss an idiot.
You're
You
for
fucking
God's sake.
Larry, son of a bitch.
Your cloak's inside out, idiot.
Yeah, it's called fashion. I work for Fashion Magazine.
All right. Okay. All right.
Uh,
It's Larry guy.
So it's too much for Clark. Clark, he pulls his money, the backing he was going to put into the stylist, and Edgar said he was, quote, being deprived through the imbecility or rather idiocy of my partner.
Okay.
So he's got to fix his reputation because just
Sure.
people know now. So he gets short autobiographies published in 2 magazines. Friends who have magazines. They're filled with embellishments and lies about him. Said he's adopted by John. He graduated from the University of Virginia with first honors. He'd been the top of his class at West Point. He once leapt 21 and a half feet.
What the fuck is that one?
I mean, you start compliments and you start drinking, and then they get.
That's such an 1800s brag.
I went to University of Virginia, graduated
Oh,
top.
that's great.
I went
Plausible.
I went to West Point, graduated
Possible.
top. I can
Oh,
jump
interesting.
21 and a half feet, motherfucker.
The other two are probably a lie.
But when they printed it, he was upset by the illustration that accompanied the piece because he thought it made him look fat.
That's
This is
in
when
an
you're like,
illustration.
he's like us. He's like you. He's like he was drawn by Fosdyke.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite email exchange before we went to Australia on the last trip. James sent the art, and you wrote back, "James, you made me look fat," and his reply was, "I made you look powerful."
Edgar published some of his most well-known tales, like The Pit and the Pendulum, about a prisoner being tortured during the Spanish Inquisition, The Telltale Heart, about a murderer being driven insane by the sound of his victim's beating heart. He won $100 in a short story contest with The Gold Bug. It was incredibly popular, but with no copyright protections, it was repeatedly stolen.
Hmm.
It reprinted 300,000 copies,
Oh,
and he did not make a dime.
damn it. That's crazy.
And Gareth, that's the end of part 1.
Oh my God. It's a two-parter?
Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy. Wait until he gets into the ladies.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait until he gets into the ladies.
Oh, no.
Because
Oh,
it
no.
is his,
Oh, no.
it gets, look, alcoholism is a progressive disease, and this dude goes full progressive.
Oh, shit. I had no idea.
You didn't have any idea, did you?
No.
You had absolutely no idea.
Holy shit.
I mean, yeah, it's It's fantastic. So, sources for this: Edgar Allan Poe, A Mournful and Never-Ending Remember by Karen Silverman. The Mystery of Mysteries: The Death and Life of Edgar Poe by Mark Dawidziak. Edgar Allan Poe, His Life at Sea by Jeffrey Myers. Quoth, Raven, More by Molly Langmuir in New York Magazine. And all the research that was done by Brittany Cohen Brown,
Hmm.
who is working on something fantastic for us. She's already worked on 700.
Wow.
And 700 is
What
going
number
to
are we at?
be 667.
Wow. You're teasing 700.
700 is what I wanted to do for a long. He's one of the OG go fors.
Okay. All right.
Say what it is. I'll just say what it is.
No.
Why not? Why not?
Because that's the whole thing.
You're going to know it the minute I read the name.
Well, then wait till then. Stop looking at me. All right, that's the end of the show. Show's over.